Your Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State and Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Your Excellency, sir, your attention is kindly needed because I believe that this is important. I beg una, if you see this video, make una help me tag His Excellency. Your Excellency, sir, you contested the 2019 presidential election as running mate to the PDP standard bearer, and in 2023 you contested as a presidential candidate under the Labour Party. And in both cases, you ended up in court because you disagreed with the outcomes of the processes. You believed that there were irregularities and the process was not credible or did not reflect the true will of a majority of Nigerians. And now you are preparing for the 2027 presidential elections. Your Excellency, that is why I have to call your attention to this, because we need your voice and support. If you truly believe, sir, that the difference between the Nigeria that is today and the Nigeria that should have been, or the Nigeria that should have been in the process of becoming, was INEC and the electoral process, Your Excellency, why are you not paying attention or putting a spotlight on INEC and that agency? If truly we believe that it was INEC that shortchanged the will of Nigerians, a majority of Nigerians, through irregularities or criminalities that took place in that agency, why are we not talking about the reformations that should go on in preparation and ahead of the 2027 presidential or general elections? Because, Your Excellency, shey na so una come trust INEC reach, abi get the guarantee where you get about INEC where we no know, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, if we say that the people who will refuse to count votes in 2027, let us count them. The power and energy we want to use to count them in 2027, why can we not bring that power or energy now, mount pressure on the National Assembly and get the reforms that we need, and then prepare to still protect our votes in 2027? Why are we postponing our fight when we can see clearly that those who are destroying this country are not pretending about their strategy for 2027? The current ruling party knows, and it is obvious, that there is no path to re-election for them except through INEC and the judiciary. They know it and they are not pretending about it. That is why all the calisthenics going on in INEC is currently going on. So why should those of us who mean well for the country be pretending about what we need to do to fix Nigeria before 2027? In the National Assembly today, we have opposition lawmakers who ran on the popularities of some of you who were at the top of the ticket. Nigerians voted for them believing that they would be agents of change. But they went into the parliament and have conformed and become worse than the status quo that they met there. For more than 2 years, not one opposition lawmaker, whether Labour or PDP, has had the courage to be able to even sponsor a bill that talks about mandatory electronic transmission of results, to at least protect the electoral process legally from judicial technicalities, while we begin to talk about protecting of the votes. Your Excellency, how can we continue in this kind of process? Because for me, Your Excellency, 2027, we have to get it right. 2027, I don't want to be involved in another wise goose chase and then see, Your Excellency, I take God beg you. I have been on this internet for months. We are screaming out my lungs about electoral reform. Now, only person know the thing where your eye don't see. I don't lose weight. I don't enter depression. I don't come out. Only everybody know how that they go waka for this Nigeria. Your Excellency, 2027, Your Excellency, 2027, I take God beg you. This issue of INEC and electoral reform, because everybody kept quiet, the INEC chairman who oversaw the criminality that took place in 2023 is still parading himself as an unbiased electoral umpire, trying to make prisoners and every other policy where he will approve, but not going towards mandatory electronic transmission of result. Even though he will leave office before 2027, there are already plans to replace him with someone who will be worse than him. We take God beg you, Your Excellency. Nigerian youth, we are waiting to hear your opinion. The strength of our democracy is not in coalition. It is in free, fair, and credible elections. It is in the strength of our institutions, beginning with the electoral system. That is the recruitment process for Nigerian leaders. And I know that you share this sentiment. So if you know that recruitment process is very important, Your Excellency, why they talk about that recruitment process to be reformed and to be fixed? Your Excellency, I take God beg you. I take God, because the one where we did so now, me, now my last energy, now the last, Your Excellency, Allow God to use you. There can be no democracy without free and fair elections. May God, please, we are waiting to hear from you. Nigerians want to hear from you and your opinion about sanitizing the electoral process ahead of 2027. God bless you. God protect our armed forces. God bless Nigeria. My name is Peter for Nigeria.
The honest truth is that if we don't fix our electoral process and know what to do about our INEC, then everything they're doing is just joke, even this coalition. Because when your coalition finish, you do everything finish, and then at the end of the election, the INEC can choose to call anything that they want to call as a result, and then we don't have any choice because they are the INEC. They are the ones that have the right to call results and tell us who the winner is. So if they don't fix the electoral process as we have been shouting since, then 2027 will be a joke, because no matter what they do, INEC is going to do their thing, which is by what? By supporting the current government and making sure that them themselves will retain their position. Because I've noticed that in Nigeria, we are all selfish. We are all about what will benefit me and not what will benefit Nigeria. Because right now, INEC will still do or play the game so that they will all remain in position. Thereby, they will still do what they do, how to do best. So this is the best advice that we can ever get. So the advice continues. So watch this video to the end. I'll be getting my next video.
I saw somewhere that you referred to the Nigerian election as SSRP.
Yes.
Why do you say that?
I mean, that SSRP is an acronym for Shege Subscription Renewal Program. Yes, that is what we do every 4 years.
Okay.
If not, ask yourself the question, have you noticed that since 1999, every president is the worst until they leave? Exactly. Everyone is bad until they go.
Leave, yes.
So under Jonathan, you thought that, in fact, there was Occupy Nigeria protest. You know, everybody needed him to leave. Then Buhari came. Then we thought that was the end of bad.
Yes.
And then Tinubu say, relax, there is another level to be shaky.
There's a renewed
so
one.
now, imagine what will make you to miss Tinubu. It is because these things we call election, Nigeria has been living in self-deceit. The hallmark of every democracy are free, fair, and credible elections.
Yes.
Without elections, it is impossible to hold leaders accountable. The problem of Nigeria is a lack of accountability. The fact that you can do anything and there are no consequences. No matter how terrible you are as a leader, you can rig yourself back and even install a successor. In America today, Donald Trump came less than 6 months and he's trying to put his acts in order. Why? Because the US system does not even give you 4 years. In 2 years, I think by 2026, they have what they call midterm elections. Either the House or the Senate in Congress will flip. It will now make things difficult for the person in the White House. That is why you must see Trump campaigning to ensure or working to ensure he delivers on his campaign promises. In Nigeria, whether you deliver or not, your hope is in a criminal INEC. So that is why my attention has been on this electoral process. The first system to hold, there is no politician who will know that you have the capacity to vote him in and vote him out who will not perform. It is the system that instills discipline on people. But they know that there is a criminal INEC and criminal judiciary where they will go to tribunal and they can change the story for them. That is why emphasis, elections as important as human life. What happens on election day can determine how long a people will live. So that is why you see me saying that what we do as elections must change to ensure that your votes count. Who the majority of the people chose should be leader. If they get tired of him, they should have a way of letting him out.
So do you think on that note, the rule of law in Nigeria is functional?
Nigeria is almost a lawless nation. We are a country that has so many laws but are governed by people who do not abide by the laws. In fact, we have a National Assembly who seem to be more of lawbreakers than the lawmakers. They make laws for the poor but cannot live by those laws. They chose what part of the judicial orders to obey and the ones they can violate. So when you want to see how corrupt a country is, look at the laws. So many laws for everything, but nobody is, because the problem are not the laws, it is the implementation of the laws. In Nigeria, if you go by the laws that protect people, everybody should be protected. Everybody should be okay. Women should be protected. Children, there is a Universal Basic Education Act that provides that there is compulsory education from primary to secondary level. But guess what? We have more than 20 million out of school children. So there is a disconnect between our laws and the enforcement of those laws, and that is where we must pay attention to, not having charlatans making laws that they cannot abide by. by.
So the problem now is from the head.
From the top.
You don't think the problem is from we, the citizens?
The problem or the issue is that whether it is a citizen problem or a leadership problem, it must be fixed by leadership.
Okay.
So the problem is from the top.
Word.
Whatever comes from under is a revolution. Whatever that will be set as a standard will be done by leadership, by example. Edafe, there is no country where there is no corruption. Even in Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, where people go to pray, the holy land of the Muslims, and in Jerusalem or in Rome, where the Pope is, there is corruption.
Exactly true.
It is strong leadership that makes a system of accountability, where there are consequences for bad behavior.
Exactly.
So if it is about the people, leaders must set example. I give you an example. For some time, if you travel to a place like Calabar, Calabar had the status of one of the cleanest cities in Nigeria. Because a former governor, Duke, was intentional about it. Every 5 minutes you walk, there is a waste bin that will say, use me. Even you who wants to drop dates, if you see something beside you to drop, you will ask yourself, are you insane? Why? Shortly after he left, another governor came in. Gradually, those bins started getting missing, one after the other. The trees that were planted. So even when you want to do the right thing, there is no system that supports it. So it must be fixed by strong and efficient leadership.
Now, speaking of leadership and speaking good, let's go back to your protest. Why you actually have this shirt on right now, electoral reform. You staged the protest for 30 days and seeking electoral reforms. Now, why did you land your spotlight on that particular thing? And then, obviously, it was not just, you didn't just wake up one day and decide to protest. You had a process. You submitted documents. So how was that process like for you?
Z and my fellow compatriots.
Yes, sir.
Let me just be very honest with you about this issue of electoral reform. It is not going to be given to anybody on a platter. The current political class does not want to do it. They would not do it because if you do free and fair election, you are asking for the resignation of more than 95% of everybody who is in the current public office now. So there is no political will. What is going to give us free and fair election would be an electoral revolution. Nigerians must mobilize and besiege the National Assembly in a peaceful demonstration and insist. What I did, or what we did, I came together with a body called Nigerian Electoral Reform Coalition. We had an electoral conference in Abuja. Then we took that petition to the National Assembly. It was just symbolic and to call attention of Nigerians. If there is no mischief on the part of the National Assembly, they know what to do. They don't even need our petition. There is a Justice Uwe's panel report on electoral reform. You remember that this thing, recommendation? But for 2 years, ask yourself, 2023, INEC chairman Professor Mahmoud said there was a glitch. Which of us here knows what caused the glitch? Why have the National Assembly not investigated to know what caused the glitch, and why we should not have further glitches going forward? Meanwhile, the president, the chairman of the Senate Committee on INEC, used to be Senator Sharafaddin Abiodun Ali from Oyo South Senatorial District. He was removed from office and replaced with Senator Simon Bakolalong, the former governor of Plateau State, who, by the way, is the former DG of Tinubu's campaign in 2023. So you should have an, insight to where we are going headed. So what we did for that 30 days is a campaign. Nigerians do not believe it is possible to have free and fair elections.
I was going to say that.
A lot of Nigerians do not even want to invest time in that because they know it will not work. But the truth is, the more they refuse, the more you must insist, because that is your only silver bullet.
So we should
without it, don't give up. Debbie, if you complain about insecurity, hunger, inflation, unemployment, you are wasting time. Guess why? The persons who are responsible for this thing are coming back in 2027. If you fail to hold them accountable, you are renewing your Shege subscription for another 4 years. You go still lament. So either fix election now or continue to postpone the evil day.
Now the truth is, a lot of people have been protesting. This is not the first time that people are coming out to say we want a reform. But then, do you think that a time will ever come when this reform will take place?
Yes. The time is already coming. There is nothing that incites or mobilizes national uproar than a bad and failed system. Now the shege way they go through go mobilize you. Because pretending not to be a part of it or not paying attention to it does not insulate you from being a victim. You can be a victim of a process you decide to ignore. Nigeria can happen to you. Between now where you plan to jackpot and when you jackpot, stray bullets can hit anybody.
Exactly.
People who have died were not protesting. For as long as you are under slavery or under bondage, fighting for freedom is forever until you get freedom.
Exactly.
So the protests we have had in Nigeria have been, NSAS. There is a lot that happened with NSAS and all that. Now it has to be strategic. If you want to see a protest that will be efficient, identify one foundational problem. Identify the institution where it will be solved and shut down that place. We don't have any business on the toll gate or on the street. The National Assembly and the Presidential Villa and the State Houses of Assembly are the focus of Nigeria. That is where you will get what you want.
Interesting.
I was going to come to that NSAS thing you said. Now, how do we talk to Nigerians to let them come out? Because someone who was a victim during that NSAS, because I said something before, those of them that died during the NSAS, to them, wherever they are, they think
Nigeria
that Nigeria
is better.
Yes. Now, if someone who lost a family member, how would you talk to that person to let the person come out to make sure they seek for this electoral reform, to make sure Nigeria goes better?
Edafe, because your family member died from NSAS protest does not mean you too cannot die from Nigeria's dysfunction.
Word.
Your own family member may have died from NSAS bullets. Your own, maybe you reach UBTH and there is no oxygen. Or you are sick and there is no ambulance to take you there. Or there is even an ambulance but the road is flooded. There is no fuel. As long as you are alive, we must continue to struggle. And if we do not do anything to consolidate on the pain of the persons whose lives were lost,
problem continues.
It then means we have even failed them. Because as you rightly said, where they did, they go, they think say Nigeria done better. Maybe they were martyrs, but not knowing that the persons who they were even fighting with have given up. Imagine such a situation. Nation building is not a sprint; it's a marathon. Every country that was developed by resilient people. You will face challenges and difficulties, but you must be as tough as it gets.
Give up, no join. No.
It's not in our dictionary.
Because if you go to embassies, you see the thousands of people that want to leave the country because a lot of Nigerian youths are already giving up on this country.
But make I shock you. When Ukraine and Russia started their war, and then they say that people are fighting there, Ukraine was looking for conscripts from other countries that may go to join them. Nigerians went to the Nigerian Foreign Affairs Ministry to go and put down their name that they want to go to Ukraine. They interviewed them and said that no, now it is war with one of the most powerful military against Russia. They say that Nigeria too is at war. Say it is the same thing. He said, Shebi, if you survive, they will give you visa, you go stay there. Let's go. If you die, you die. If I no die, it is that bad.
Exactly.
Nigerians are migrating from Nigeria to Togo.
You can imagine.
People are leaving Nigeria. They are protesting against Nigerians in Ghana now. Remember 30 years ago, how many years ago under Shagari when it was Ghana must go? Today, Nigerians in Ghana are being threatened to even leave.
Nigerians must go.
Nigerians are in Cameroon. Nigerians, as we are talking, are in the Middle East.
And
Iran.
we are the giants of Africa.
Benghazi. People are in Iraq.
The most populated black nation in the world. One of the most blessed countries in terms of human and natural resources. That is where we are as a people. So the desperation is frightening. We must fix it.
Someone once said that he prefers to be a flower in the Western world than being a human.
Because they go take care of you. They go pet you past human life for Nigeria.
That's true.
In America, if you beat dog or cat or it is animal cruelty. In Nigeria, under Buhari, 78 people were killed in a mass killing and buried in a mass burial in Benue. The president did not go. President Tinubu was on holiday in Paris for 2 weeks. More than 150 people were killed in Plateau. He has not visited the state. Human life in Nigeria means nothing. So that is why somebody will say I prefer to be a flower vase or a monument in New York where they will make laws to protect me than be a human being in Nigeria, God forbid.
So there was an Electoral Act in 2022 that was enacted, and right now, if you're seeking electoral reform after something was enacted in 2022, are we saying that one that was enacted in 2022 was useless?
Not completely useless. It was mischievous. What a lot of Nigerians do not pay attention to is the fact that you can make a decision and it does not turn out well, it doesn't mean you should give up on the process. Even we, as we are here, we have family members who can be very stubborn. There go be one pikin where they say go they give the mother problem, the mama know they disown them. She will continue to work and pray and do everything to ensure that you are better off. The Electoral Act of 2022 specified section 60 subsection 5 said the presiding officer will transmit the result in a way and manner as prescribed by INEC. Meaning it is open. But remember that they say the game changer will be electronic transmission of results. Now the question will be, did INEC specify a way? Yes, INEC did. Paragraph 38 of the INEC guidelines clearly states electronic transmission of results. But unfortunately, there was a criminal judiciary who will use technicalities to rule on the case, because that opened and left the elections to be held with INEC's discretion. Where they want to do manual, they will do it. Whatever that they want to do, as long as it's not an omission to the Electoral Act. Immediately after the tribunal case in 2023, everybody's attention was supposed to turn back to the National Assembly and INEC. What were the loopholes we did not close? What happened? Because leaving it, see, the more you become detached from the system, is a gift to the politicians. They don't even want you to talk about it. I know the feedback I've been hearing even from the National Assembly. They'll tell you, say, Shebi, you were a content creator, go and continue your content. If now you, they say you should take gun and kill yourself, will you kill yourself? We are not going to approve it. They know that electoral reform is the game changer. So Nigerians must go back. There are two issues: INEC, the laws, and then the judiciary. Close the loopholes on the laws. Look at it holistically, and then now mobilize to protect your vote on the day of election. Let there be electronic transmission of results. Make people they see result as they vote.
Exactly.
Ghana did it. South Africa just did it. Nigeria's president was in Ghana. What are we learning from them? So that is the challenge, the mischief of our politicians.
Now, in Nigerian election, especially the 2023 general election, now people talk about tribalism a lot, both online and offline. What do you have to say about it? Because over the years, there are some certain class of persons that people feel that these are the persons that always want to rule the country.
They should be the ones to rule.
Edafe, Nigerians are not as disunited as they claim or the politicians want to make it seem. When you see this ethnic and religious division, it is the handwork of evil politicians. But you will notice that when it comes to stealing the commonwealth of the people, they are united. Their children, whether Christian, marry Muslim, they do not have ethnicity at the top. It is during elections they come to divide people across ethnic and religious lines. My father, God rest his soul, he worked with Nigerian Airways before he died. Every time he was transferred back to the south, he will walk it back to the north. My mom met him in Sokoto. He spoke fluent Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, and we are from the south. He always, when he was watching Boko Haram and everything on TV, he said no. He knows that there are issues, but they are not this bad. He said even people from the north are some of the most honest persons that he has lived with. He preferred to live with them. So all of these shenanigans you are seeing,
they make us believe it.
Are people trying to pit Nigerians against one another. That is why we must reject that kind of division and ensure that the way hunger day for Benin is the way it go day for Warri. Now say go day for Sokoto. The people in Sokoto are not buying fuel different. We know what we want, and the minimum. The people who are out of school where Boko Haram they are killing a lot of northerners too. So why do we think that any other person? Nigerians must just find a way of coming together to see that it is about our own lives,
and not just the
not just about the persons in power, or not about our ethnic or religious differences.
Do you have a particular political orientation that you believe in?
I believe in the welfare of the people. My political orientation is the betterment of humanity. Because you know what, when some people will tell you, say democracy is bad, that democracy does not work, but I go with that statement. There was a former British Prime Minister, Winston Churchill. He said democracy is the worst system of government until you try every other system of government.
Interesting.
This democracy that you are condemning is no good, it is bad. In China, they do communist system of government.
Yes.
There is autocracy, there is dictatorship, there is whatever you want to call it. The challenge with Nigeria is that the democracy is in parts. There is the principle and the practice. If you follow democracy through the principles of freedom, of equality and equity, of justice and fairness, if you put it into practice, you will enjoy democracy. The countries you want to jackpot to in America are democracies. Is it that democracy changes meaning when it crosses the Atlantic Ocean?
They have a subscription
that we are not subscribing
to.
Maybe they have gone to Democracy Max premium. We still do it. The problem is that politicians have mastered the art of democratization of disenfranchisement. Politics without the people. Whether you vote or not, they will come back to power. That is why every democracy day, the only places you see celebration is in government houses. You see governor cutting cake, releasing bed. Why? Because they have decided to privatize the profits and socialize the losses to you. So while they are getting the benefits of a democracy without accountability, they are living the luxury, the perks of office. You are the one bearing the brunt, because democracy or a bad government does not exist in a vacuum. We are the collateral for bad governance. If you put in bad governance, it is human lives that make up for it. So that is my own philosophy of
speaking on democracy. Now we have come to democracy. What do you have to say about Governor Fubara's suspension and the whole thing behind putting a new sole administrator in a state that has a democratically elected governor?
What law did President Tinubu use to swear in the sole administrator? Chivibogete Ekweibas, the former chief of naval staff, and why the option of that particular person? You know, the problem with Nigeria is that we spend time talking about a problem than the solution. So we want to continue to talk about it. Tinubu did not suspend the Rivers State governor because he thought it was right. He did not suspend because he believes it is wrong. He did it because he knows he can do it and nothing will happen. If President Tinubu thought it was legal, he would have even waited for the National Assembly to pass. Before the National Assembly ratified the memo he sent, he had already sworn him in. And the Senate is supposed to vote with a 2/3 majority, more than 70 votes. They decided to use a voice vote. We are using illegality to cure illegality. But the question is, why did we get to that point in Rivers State? We must address the root cause. A former governor believed that he became so powerful that he single-handedly made somebody governor. And so therefore, according to Nigerians, they say they have agreement is agreement. This agreement is likened to two thieves struggling to share what does not belong to them. And instead of the owners, who are the Rivers people, to wake up and say no, we want to insert ourselves, they say no, it's agreement. This agreement is the Commonwealth of Rivers State people. That brings us back to the elections I'm talking about. Edafi, Debbie. So the more than 8 million people in Rivers State do not know how to choose a governor. They wait for their former governor to pick. And then if he's tired of that person, he can decide to weaponize the National State House of Assembly against you.
Put somebody else.
If you do not go back to fix a system where your people can vote a leader and he's answerable to you. That is why today Fubara is like the PA to the minister. They are just moved. They say they don't do one RNG.
That's what I was going to say.
Everybody just they do the peace be like they set coal of fire on that somewhere, force everybody to sit down. So everybody
and they have together.
We have
everybody's breathing in and out.
That peace will soon be exposed. The way it is going, because there can be no peace without justice. Any peace built on injustice is peace of the graveyard. So that is where Rivers people are. It is up to Nigerians to wake up and say it is about our lives, not political godfathers. If not, the shenanigans will continue.
It will continue.
Tinubu cannot try that in certain states. He knows why he did that.
Wow.
So there's a question people ask in Nigeria. When you tell them come out and vote, there's something they say. Do my vote count? Do you really believe our votes count in Nigeria?
Edafe, the question you will ask those people is, if your vote does not count, what are you doing to make it count?
True.
Your vote not counting is directly linked to the quality of life that you have. The reason why people today are struggling with school fee, there is high level of maternal mortality, youth unemployment, inflation, insecurity, is because your vote has not been counting. So at what point will that your vote that is not counting inspire and motivate you enough to get up and insist that it should count. So it is not about whining and complaining. It is about all of us coming together to take action. How many are these people who are making the votes not to count? Calculate the entire political class, the entire National Assembly, 36 state governor. Let us add commissioners. Let's add State House of Assembly. Let's add ministers. Let's add all of them. How many are there? Less than 5 or 10,000 people holding more than 200 million human beings to ransom.
Yes.
So we will ask ourselves the question, the people in power and the power of the people, who should be greater? So it's not enough to complain that your vote doesn't count. It is your duty to ensure that it counts. Activate as an activist.
Activate
So we should all become
activist.
activists.
No, sincerely.
Nigeria is a country of more than 200 million activists who have not yet activated. The question should be, what are you waiting for to activate you? May it not be something negative.
Amen.
Amen. Oh, amen. That's the big prayer. So now let's talk Senate. We've gone from all the different arms of government, and it has been an insightful conversation so far. Now the 10th Assembly suspended Senator Natasha.
Yes.
And based on her allegations to the Senate President.
Exactly,
Now, two things happened. The judiciary actually recalled her, rather. And now the House said that it is the court did not recall her. The court advised that they recall her. And then the Senate President himself now has petitioned her recall, appealed her recall. What do you have to say about that, sir?
My people, it is the same thing I tell you about when one government come out. You begin to think that this is bad until the next one comes in. You know, Nigerians do not remember that there was a Senate president called Ahmed Lawan in the 9th Senate, who we thought was the worst Senate president. And then Akpabio came with the 10th Senate, and then they will show you that there is another level to this. In fact, the National Assembly today, we do not know. The National Assembly is supposed to be the mainstay of a democracy. That is the only institution that is absent among the other arms of government in a military regime. There is judiciary, there is executive. National Assembly is supposed to be democracy. That is the institution that carries out oversight over every other arm of government. The powers, the checks and balances. Today, the National Assembly is almost an APC town hall. For 2 years, when President Tinubu goes to submit his budget, they greet him with "on their mandate they shall fall," the political mantra of the president.
Wow.
That is why, because all of these are not checked, they now move into victimizing. You say that a person did not obey standing rules, Senator Natasha, that she did not change her seat. You gave her maximum suspension of 6 months. Withdrew her security, stopped her salary. They began a criminal recall of her by some persons petitioning in their constituency to remove her from the Senate. All of this. There was a senator in that place in 2018 who, according to police, led thugs to go and steal the mace, the symbol of authority, in the Senate. He was suspended and taken to court. The Supreme Court nullified the suspension and said you cannot suspend for more than 14 days. He returned back to the Senate. By 2019, he was voted in as Deputy Senate President.
Interesting.
A 7th senator in that place, who is a former governor, was convicted of money laundering and sentenced to prison. Did the Senate suspend him?
I wonder.
Did his salary stop until he went to the Supreme Court, overturned it and came back? So the Senate standing rules does not know how to take care of the criminals amongst them. It is only women who are speaking up for their rights. In a National Assembly of 109 senators, they have only 4 women. One of them is the one going through that persecution. And then now the court, the Justice Binta Anyako, ruled that the Senate should recall the senator. Whether or not it is an advice, it is an order, any decision of a judge in a court of competent jurisdiction is binding on whomever it was given to. The National Assembly is now telling Senator Natasha that she should go and pay 5 million that the court charge her for contempt of court, meaning it is the Senate that is trying to enforce courts on what to do. This is the recklessness and abuse of office. And remember that she had 3 allegations. Sexual harassment, abuse of office, malicious intent to deny her legislative privileges. People were asking for the evidence. I'm sure they are getting the evidence now.
They are seeing it now.
So I'm sure do you people still need to ask? They play the show. Remember that sexual harassment is not sexual assault. There are statements and actions that have continuously against this particular person. But you know what? As long as there is no means of accountability, this kind of recklessness and abuse will continue. That is why everybody must speak up. The fact that it is a senator today, it can be anybody.
Yes.
Exactly.
That is why I decided, even when they say, oh, you are doing electoral reform, it concerns the Senate, maybe you should stay away. I said no. Senator Natasha is one of the most hardworking senators in that place. I have been following her work online for her people of Kogi Central and all of that. People should not allow this kind of violations to go on. If it can be done to a senator, imagine an ordinary person.
Just imagine an ordinary individual.
The people in the Senate must know that power is transient. Akpabio cannot be Senate president forever. At some point you will leave. There are people before you. Do the right thing and focus on important issues, security and hunger. Leave the woman to go back and represent her people.
And when people look at the judiciary to be the hope of the common man, it is now the
opposite.
The judiciary in Nigeria is the last hope of the uncommon man. It is not even a judiciary, it's the legal department of every government in power. It has become so compromised that it is where we are supposed to have confidence and justice. It is now being weaponized against the people. So you can, big men can procure court orders at random. We must fix the judiciary.
Then so who then will the common man go to?
That's why everybody turns to God. That is why, because everybody, the systems have failed, everybody has turned to religion, and that is why the religious leaders have also become, a lot of them become mischievous and are cashing out, brainwashing the people, and are leaving them more redundant. Instead of telling them to fight to fix government, they are telling them that all their problems are spiritual. Meanwhile, more than 70 to 80% of what you spend time praying in church are issues that will be solved by efficient government.
That's why you see that when people go abroad, they become less. They'll say they don't believe in God anymore.
You even become more intimate with God when you live in a sane place. There is no way you can be in Nigeria. You fit they come back from church and then you see one Agberu. Before you know, you they speak in tongues, but you go first swear for it.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is even easier to make heaven from abroad than Nigeria. Nigeria will test.
Before you swear for police, swear for NEPA.
Swear for NEPA.
Swear for
every day they wake up. You know go better for this one. You know go better now. Go kill this now. Go kill this one. Not be say you are not a Christian, but sometimes you go hear people say, make we even keep this Bible for corner. May I leave my Christianity first.
Sometimes person go just sleep, wake up with anger.
You go
be like say from dreams.
Everybody in Nigeria is on auto anger. That is why if even you want a person excuse for Nigeria, sorry, because he can be angry by default. May you not go trigger an already bad situation. So that is how Nigeria works. So now we just did.
So let's talk 2027. Whether we like it or not, it is coming, and it is coming very, very close to us. And we've seen hints, and I think we've even seen proof that there's a coalition brewing. What do you have to say about that?
Z, coalition is good though. The question I am asking is, why do we need a coalition? The only reason why everybody always believes that we must come together, parties must come together to remove a sitting government, is because they know that INEC will not do the right thing. We have seen a coalition before in 2014.
Yes.
It brought the calamity called the Buhari administration, and it laid the foundation for what we have today. That is why I am not interested in coalitions that are just to take power for the sake of power. It is coalition that is interested in solving insecurity, hunger, inflation, out of school children, and all of that. And one of the dangers of a coalition is the fact that a person who emerges has too many interests to service. Imagine, let us say maybe Peter Obi or anybody emerge as president now from the coalition, and you want to fight the corruption in the oil sector, and then you look at the coalition and see the politicians, power brokers there who are benefiting from what is going on in the oil sector. Your hands become tied. You must fix a system where when people vote for their people, they know that they came on the mandate of the people. So you have full capacity to do what you want to do. That even brings me to, I knew there was a second part of your question where you say that some people say a particular region wants to rule and rule for long. The question you ask is, what are they using the power for? Edafe, since 1960 we have had about 15 or 16 presidencies and heads of state. In that number, the North alone has accounted for more than 10 or about 10. Katsina alone has 2. The late President Yaro, how has it benefited the people in the North? They are the most backward in terms of out of school children. Out of the 20 million out of school children in Nigeria, the North accounts for more than 12 million.
Wow.
Poverty, hunger. So what is the power that is given to you being useful? Is it helping your lives? Nigerians must reach the point where we talk about competence and capacity.
Yes.
If you are an Igede man, if you are an Ishan man, an Auchi person, but you can get the job done, please, the Lord be with you. Do it.
Just go
Why
ahead.
is everybody talking about because it is a Tinubu is a Yoruba man, Yoruba Ronu. Ekiti people were slaughtered by herdsmen. He has not gone there.
He has not even gone there.
Exactly.
So you can be a victim of the incompetent leadership that you support because the hand of incompetence is long enough to go round.
Yes, it go touch everybody.
It go touch everybody.
So that means
Exactly.
we need to
Everybody
start
dey
voting
escape
for
am.
people and not party.
Not party.
Not party.
Personality,
Individuals.
character and competence. Then we build a system of accountability so that when they go there and decide to misbehave, let the law take its course.
Exactly.
Speaking of elections,
Yeah.
and voting in the individuals instead of the party. 2023, right? That was when we had our
Last election.
I remember coming out with my full shirt.
Full shirt.
I stayed there. I said I will vote today.
And watch
6 p.m. I was still there waiting for them to record
Yeah.
the winner.
Yeah.
Now a lot of us were heartbroken because
A
we
lot
did not expect that kind of result.
Yes.
You have been very acquainted with this whole political thing.
Yeah.
From your own opinion, do you think that Tinubu won that election?
This question was too direct than I even thought. Debbie, a lot of persons fell into depression from 2023.
I did.
Some people, do you know that because of how 2023 went, some people have completely disconnected from Nigeria?
Yeah.
Some people send me messages and say, Peter, it is now that you are talking about this thing that I'm seeing whether there is still hope. I have given up. Because 2023, we thought it was an opportunity for us to do something.
Yes.
Z, INEC knows the winner of the election. The judiciary know, the people in Aso Rock know. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, a person won an election by losing all major states. He lost Lagos, his home state. Lost Kano, lost Abuja. And Abuja is a litmus test for whoever will win the presidency. Because Abuja is no man's land.
Yes.
He lost, apart from what happened in Rivers State, the calisthenics that the former governor did there.
Yes.
Rivers State is the highest voting bloc from the south. But somehow, INEC found votes, gathered, and guess what? They announced the result in the middle of the night when human beings were sleeping. And then the question will be, Mahmoud Yakubu, what caused the glitch?
Okay.
Why did the server not work? You went around with your head of voter education, Barrister Festus Okoye, telling Nigerians more than 100 times that electronic transmission was the game changer.
Is the key.
Why did it not work? So it is not about whether because now the 2023 is behind us.
Yes.
The question is, that character is still INEC chairman till date.
Yes.
He will be leaving on retirement soon. By the time he leaves, he will be replaced with someone who is worse.
This is Nigeria.
Yes, it is Nigeria because the constitution gives the powers to appoint INEC chairman to the president.
Oh.
Yes, so he will do it again. The question now is, how do we insulate that process from human interference?
Yes.
Because to be fair to you, the best of man is man.
Yes. True.
Even the Pope can become anything.
Man is flawed.
Exactly.
An Alufa can become anything. You must protect the system such that no matter who is there, it is not at the discretion of those persons.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is what we must do. Because if we continue to cry over spilt milk of 2023, we will wail until the criminality that took place then will be consolidated on 4 years later.
Exactly.
So how do we make sure that the INEC body brings out proper results?
That is what I've been doing since. That is what we are doing. This electoral reform. The painful thing is that Nigerians have become so disappointed that they don't believe it can work.
Yeah.
A good number of people will tell you electoral reform. They will now even tell you, they say, who want to pass electoral reform? This current set of people who are benefiting from it. Now, then the question I will ask them is, if they don't pass it, who will you want to pass it? Maybe you should wait till when they finish in 2031. Maybe the person who comes after them.
That's a long time from now, honestly.
Debbie, the tragedy about Nigeria is that there is no worst case scenario.
And I think that's his name. He have proven to be among the person that have carried this issue of electoral reform for over how many years now. He have been shouting on this issue of electoral reform, INEC, electoral reform, INEC. Because we can do all we want to do. Because last election was massive. People be put crap. At the end, the INEC did what they know how to do best, and then they gave APC the winner of the election, which you all know that they were the winner of the election. And he had been hammering this issue of electoral reform, which is what we Nigerians need right now. The INEC should give us electoral reform. Yes, we all know that APC are going to do the electoral reform, but at least let there be an electoral reform. Let there be a change. Let us know what the INEC is planning. Let us know what the INEC will do in the next election. Because it's so shameful that INEC rigged the election in the eyes of everybody and nobody could do anything. That's the power of INEC. No doubt, INEC has the power when it comes to election. But then we as Nigerians, we need to wake up, because this is the best advice that we can get. Because we can campaign, I want to campaign, do I want to do everything, then the APC can still wake up to money, INEC can still wake up in the morning, declare APC the winner of the election, and then there's nothing anybody can do, because it's so shameful that in Nigeria, where we don't have a working court. Yes, because Obi was in court. Then Obi now sent the Obi, and the Supreme Court now sent the last of Obi to go and get evidence from INEC. INEC didn't release the evidence, but guess what? The court didn't push for that. I thought the court should have been the one pressuring INEC to provide the evidence. So far, the PWB lawyers were saying the election was rigged. Then there should be evidence, and if someone refuses to bring evidence, there is not left for the Supreme Court to give an order to the INEC that they should release the results. But unfortunately, they didn't do that because of the country where we are in. But I'll take a look at just all your views in the comments section. I'll take that in my next video.